and Lucas of the Green Party and the Independent's comment pages, the Labour MP and Independent columnist, Chuka Ramuna, the SNPs, Joanna Cherry, the Liberal Democrat leader and Independent columnist, Vince Cable, and the Conservatives, Anna Soubry.
What a beautiful sight you are, and what a movement we have become. The Green Party is proud to be part of this amazing movement for a people's vote, because we know that democracy didn't end on the 23rd of June 2016. That referendum wasn't the end of the story, it was the start of something new. We must be champions of the greatest social transformation this country has seen in a generation. Friends, we know that Brexit would make our poorest communities even poorer and more powerless. So we must have that people's vote. But we must also reprogram an economy that fails so many, that is based on such inequality, that condemns us to climate breakdown. So let us go out there and use this people's vote as an opportunity to transform the way things are, not to defend the status quo. Let's go out there and knock on those doors until our feet hurt and our voices are lost. Let us talk with our friends and our neighbours and people we don't yet know. And let's do it with the promise of a politics of change, a politics of something different. Let us do it with the promise of hope.
What an amazing crowd. Now, I'm Lambeth born and bred. I represent it, and we scored the highest Remain vote in the country, and we're proud of it. And you know what these Brexiters, the Brexit elite, say about my community, and indeed all of you guys on this march? They try and smear us as some liberal metropolitan elite when nothing could be further from the truth. And you know why they do that? Because right from the start of this debate, they tried to set up different parts of our United Kingdom against each other. They wanted to divide this country. And the truth is, whether you're from a Remain or a Leave area, the problems are the same. In my borough of Lambeth, 1 in 4 people living in absolute poverty. Some of the most acute social problems in the country. But we did not think that Brexit would solve those problems. That's the only difference. And the fact is, what do we know now? Whether you're from Liverpool, Lincoln, Llandudno, Livingston in Scotland, or Lambeth where I am, we now know, going through this process, that Brexit is not going to make any of those problems better. It is going to make them worse. And the deal on the table, it is nowhere near as good as the deal that we've got now. So let us not have your Farages, your Boris Johnsons or your Jacob Rees-Moggs divide this nation, and let us say with one voice, we want a people's vote and we want it now.
Good afternoon, London. It's really great to be in this yes voting city, and like you lot, Scotland voted to remain as well, and also so did Northern Ireland. And despite the fact that I support Scottish independence, I want to see all the nations of the United Kingdom remain in the European Union. I like the European Union because it's a union of equals. This is in all our interests for us to stay in the European Union. I sit on the Brexit Select Committee at Parliament, and we've had 2 years of evidence, and it's quite clear from that evidence, overwhelming evidence, that it's in the interests of the economy across these islands and our society to remain in the European Union. I also just want to say a little something today about all the European Union citizens who live and work in the United Kingdom and who didn't get a vote. To say that those of us here today still very much care about you. We want you to remain here and to continue to make the huge contribution you do. As things stand, Scotland is looking at being taken out of the European Union against her will. So I'm very, very proud to tell you that my SNP colleagues and myself could not be clearer that when we know what Brexit looks like, we will support a people's vote with the option to remain.
We're all here this afternoon because we care about the future of this country. Because we can see that Brexit is a potential disaster, and because we believe it can be stopped. It's not inevitable. And that's why we want a people's vote. But I want to address my remarks to the thousands of young people in the audience whose future is being taken from them. The freedom to travel, to work, to study across Europe. They've been deprived of it because the majority of my generation voted to leave. The majority of young people voted to stay. It's a tragedy that this country is now being divided by generation. And that young people are having imposed upon them a backward-looking vision of the future, turning Britain into a museum. But it doesn't have to happen. Theresa May says she's going out trying to get the best deal for this country. Let's be very clear, there is no deal better than the one we have now. It's the best for Britain, it's the best for Europe, and we should keep it and fight for it, and that's why we want a people's vote now.
You know, when we launched the People's Vote back in April, the truth of it is that we were the few. Today, it's clear we are the many. And it's thanks for the work that you have done. I know that People's Vote groups throughout the whole of the United Kingdom have gone out into the streets, into the market squares, talking to people with those Brexitometers, making the case and explaining to people why Brexit was not only undefined, it's also undeliverable. Thank you for the work that you have done. We are winning the argument, and we're winning that argument most importantly amongst those people who voted leave. We are making the case that they did not vote for this chaos and this mess. And I say to older Leave voters in particular, they know when they look to their children and their grandchildren, increasingly they are putting their interests first. And when they do that, they know that Brexit would be a disaster for the future of our country. But the other thing that many of the brilliant speakers that we've all heard from today have made clear is this. Where are all the Brexit leaders? Where are they? They're not taking responsibility for this mess and for this chaos. They've walked away. We will not walk away. We will take responsibility and we will sort out this mess with a people's vote. That's what we're going to do.
voice, because we are all friends. What a great day we've had. There's more work to be done. Now all of us come together. Isn't that great to see people of all parties coming together? This is the greatest, most important issue and decision that our country has taken in decades. We will continue to make the case over there in Parliament. But there's more work to be done. We need your help so that the people can take back control of the future of this country. So, in order to do that, there's a whole bunch of work that we were asking you now, please, to do. Vince.
Right, email your MPs because Parliament is heading to gridlock and only the people can resolve this mess.
Write to your MP and tell them that nobody voted for the botched up Brexit that the UK government is trying to deliver.
Matters. If you write to your MP, give one message at least. Why should we pay £50 billion in a divorce bill and get some little piece of paper in return? Do you think that's acceptable?
And write to your MPs to say, enough is enough. Write to them to say that this is our country, this is our future, and what do we demand? We demand our people's vote. Thank you.
Isn't that a great sight? All our political parties speaking as one. If only it could happen more often. And I do have some breaking news, which is that the back of this march has only just reached Hyde Park Corner, which for those of you who don't come from London is a really long way away, and it means that 670,000 people was a very, very low estimate. There are many, many, many more of us here today. Thank you all for coming.
We have shattered it. Like, even Trump wasn't this big.
For our next voice, despite the fact that we're jubilant with that news, I want to ask you to be very, very, very quiet, to watch and to listen as the wonderful Scottish actor Brian Cox narrates a short film on how marches like this one have helped to change the world for the better. Watch, quiet and listen. Thank you.
Here we go.
So many of the things we value, so many of the great steps forward we have taken, seemed impossible until they happened. The NHS was a pipe dream. The establishment voted against it 21 times. The fight went on until the final vote made it real. Peace in Northern Ireland was a moonshot. It could never be. Until some brave leaders took a chance on peace and people north and south voted for progress. Votes for women. Civil partnerships. Devolution for Scotland and Wales. The movements against fascism and apartheid, often opposed by the powerful, but made real by the people. We came and stood in the rain together, marched together, sang together, fought together, and now we fight again. For our families, for our communities, for our children, because we want our future back. It is time for a people's vote on the Brexit deal, because everything is impossible until we make it happen.